So the classic iPad remains a great option for education users as well as people who just want an entry-level iPad. It comes with Apple Pencil, but this year it's been upgraded to the Apple A12 Bionic chipset. And the question I answered in this video, in this review, is the iPad 8 worth it now? I mean, this design is getting pretty old, but is it still a good value? Is it worth it for you to pick up? So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to my iPad 8 review. Now, here's the box. I skipped the unboxing because, it's basically just another iPad box. Nothing really different from before. The only difference is that now you're getting a USB-C charger, and this one is a larger as well. So it's 20 watts here. So it does charge a little bit quicker. But other than that, it's your classic iPad box that it comes with pretty much every time you buy an iPad. Clean white look. The key specs that matter here for this iPad include stuff like a 10.2-inch Retina display. Now keep in mind that Retina display still has a hollow feel to it. I mean, it's not a laminated display, so it still has that kind of gap. You can kind of see the black right here, especially on the white model. But other than that, it's pretty great. It also has an 8 megapixel 1080p camera on the rear. No flash with this one, so do keep that in mind. You aren't paying for, a pro iPad with flash and wide angle and all that stuff. Also, this does give you approximately 3 gigs of RAM, so you're not getting a major amount of RAM here either for this iPad. But what you are getting is a really fast Apple A12 Bionic chipset. And again, there's no ProMotion display on this one, so keep that in mind. And a 32.4 watt hour battery rated up to 10 hours. So this should give you some of the longest battery life in the iPad lineup. Now you can get this iPad in gold, the silver color I have here, or you can get this thing in space gray. Now I gotta say, for $329, we're already seeing $299 discounts, and I expect this to go even cheaper on things like Black Friday. I'm already loving the value proposition here. With those specs we just talked about, I think those are some great specs for this money. I mean, you can do a lot with this iPad for just $329. Now talking about the design of this iPad, so you can see right here, we do have Touch ID. This looks like a blown up iPhone 8 Plus Silver, or pretty much any other iPhone with a home button. It has the classic iPad design. That's not a bad thing if you really enjoyed Apple's older style design. You could see volume rockers over here. You can see you have a front-facing FaceTime camera over there. Nothing on the sides. Very thin, very light, I would say, just about a pound here. iPad, big Apple logo. That's the great thing about the iPad. You get a huge Apple logo. Right there, you do have your rear camera. Also, we have up here our power button. Everything just feels classic. There's nothing really to cover here in terms of design besides the fact that you're going to get bigger bezels here for this iPad than you're going to see on something like an iPad Pro. But when Apple made the 10.2-inch, it got a little bit less on the top and bottom from the, the iPad 9.7. Overall, I still like this design. I think it's a very comfortable iPad, familiar feel, and I like that it has the faster chip. But I will say that it's getting a little bit stale in terms of it might need an update on the next models. But if you want to see the next design, I think the next model will probably give us a new design here for the iPad. So this might be the final year with this one. We'll see how it goes going forward. Okay guys, so talking about the display on here, again, 10.2 inches. I like the size. I think it's a good balance between a large size and not too small of a size like an iPad mini where you really can't get much done unless you want to do it in a cramped fashion. Now, what I don't like again is that hollowness of this display. If you've used something like an iPad Pro, even your iPhone, this thing feels just hollow and kind of cheap. It's kind of unusual for an Apple product to have any kind of cheap feeling. And that display, that hollowness just kind of feels cheap. I'm not going to lie about that there. But you can see right here with the Retina quality, it gets up to 500 nits. Now, why is that important? Because most laptops would dream to get to 500 nits. I mean, you got to go to like those premium laptops to get that kind of brightness on a display. Also here, the sharpness of the panel, we're talking over 300 ppi. We're talking that Retina quality. So what does that mean? You're getting just sharp enough where you're not going to see pixels on the display. So I gotta say, pinching and zooming, everything is just fine. I mean, this is iPad OS 14, so you're gonna expect that smooth feel on here, and it gives you just that. So I gotta say, the display is gonna be fun here to use. So when you are typing, if you have large hands, it's pretty easy to type with this, kind of like that. But you can also pinch here in iPad OS 14, so it gets even easier to type on the iPad. Again, you can get a smart keyboard with this, but if you're watching the Nick Ackerman channel and you're watching some videos here, because of the aspect ratio, you're still going to get black bars in video, but you're not going to get no cutouts from no notches or anything like that. This is iPad. You don't get no cutouts on any iPad, so that's great. And again, you do have stereo speakers on both sides here on the bottom. So you do have stereo speakers right there when listening to audio. But there's not some up here. So it's not going to be the loudest experience, but it's still pretty acceptable for what this product is. Overall, the display is excellent for this. It's just got that hollow feel. That's it. That's all I got to say about it there. And if you want that more silky smooth ProMotion, again, this is not a Pro. Don't expect that. So the Apple Pencil for the iPad, I just want to talk about this quickly. Again, this terrible design still exists here where you have to stick this pencil into the end over here on the lightning port. It's still ridiculous looking. This is where the iPad Pro is leagues ahead. You have a little magnet on the iPad Pro. It just seems much more polished. But at the same time, what's great about this Apple Pencil is that it just writes fantastic. I already did a note earlier. You can see right there. It's just the accuracy of it. It's just fantastic. No matter what you're doing on this, writing any type of note, it's amazing. It's great for signing documents, great for drawing, great for taking notes in class. It has plenty of colors here, plenty of great apps within the App Store to go ahead and take even better notes than the one in the Apple Notes app, which is free and included. I would say great addition to this iPad. Without this, it would seem kind of like, it doesn't have any extra add-ons, but that's a great add-on. And with that, it's going to jack the price up a little bit. So do keep that in mind. And one of the best new things about this iPad is also supports Scribble. So anywhere within iPad OS 14, you can use this Apple Pencil to scribble and just kind of write your searches. Also, if you're in Safari, you can also hit any search box in pretty much any website and go ahead and search what you want here. It's scary accurate how fast this thing is for the iPad. So you're going to really like Scribble as well. Now, discussing the software, we do have iPad OS 14 on board. It's the first iPad, I think, to ship with this right out of the box. And you can see software update, iPad OS 14. Now, iPad OS 14, we already showed you Scribble. That's one of the main features for iPad OS 14. But also, it does include some of these new widgets over here to the left. You can see right there. You get a different music icon in addition to that. And when you go to things like files, for example, it does give you like a nice little bar off to the left. You can kind of hide that away. You also do have this in photos and some other applications. So they're getting neater organization with iPad OS. You have the full web browser within Safari. So, excellent. I mean, you could do a lot more than you could years ago with iPad. Does it replace a laptop? For some, yes. For others that need certain laptop programs, it still won't do that. But I think it's getting very close. And if you do get Apple's smart keyboard for this iPad, it's game over. You have yourself basically a little iPad, this one right here. That's actually the iPad we're reviewing right there. So overall, software updates are coming for years with this iPad. If you get it, iPad OS 14 is bringing some nice widgets, some nice Scribble features. And unlike iOS 14 for the phone, you don't have that app library, which a lot of people seem to not be liking. So right here, you have a pretty great software support, the best you're going to find on a tablet. And when it comes to performance, we're talking about the Apple A12 Bionic. Now, we don't got to talk much about this because pretty much every iPad feels pretty smooth. But where this one, it's kind of like having that fast engine under the hood. You don't really think about it until you need it. That's where this really starts to shine. So when playing games, when running benchmarks, when doing video rendering, specifically 4K video editing, like say you take a video on your phone and 4K, you want to bring it over to the iPad, this one's going to be able to handle this thing like nothing. However, one thing to keep in mind, if you're going to be running video editing or you're going to be doing anything serious and you need the space, you have to go with the 128 gigs because this 32 gigs is not going to be enough space for basically anything. This is not my main iPad. That's why I decided to pick up the 32 gig Wi-Fi with this one, but I seriously recommend going to the 429, 128 gig if you're going to need to do 4K video editing and stuff like that. You're going to need that space. I don't really see much of a difference between the A10 CPU and the other device, especially when just going through your everyday apps. iPads, again, are always very smooth. But again, when it comes down to it, when you're going to be rendering, when you're going to be playing video games, when you're just hopping through, multiple tabs at once, you will see no hiccups with this A12. So this A12 is leagues faster than so many other computing devices out there. And talking about the cameras here with the iPad, now I'm not going to say these are bad cameras. I don't think it's a bad camera on here. It's actually pretty good with good lighting, but there's nothing overly impressive about this iPad camera. Does it have great focus? Yes. Would it be great in a pinch? Yes. But is it going to be pretty much any iPhone? Absolutely not. So I wouldn't really, I'm not going to come over here and tell you this is an amazing camera, because it really isn't, but they're pretty good for what they are. They're basic cameras for your iPad, and that's about it. That's what you expect. I mean, most people are not using the cameras like it's their main point and shoot camera, like their iPhone. They're using it for FaceTime video chat, and unfortunately, this camera right here on the front is not the best for that either. But it's not terrible. Again, I've seen worse on some budget Windows laptops, so I'm not gonna knock the camera too much. I think it's just a basic, usable iPad camera. That's all I got to say about that. So battery life. This thing right here is a champ. Easily 10 hours. Sometimes I'm hitting around 11 on this one. So yes, thumbs up for the battery life. You're gonna absolutely love it here for this iPad. This is one of the benefits of not having ProMotion, not having a 12.9-inch display, not having, to push so much on this iPad, and having a very efficient processor. You get amazing performance for this device right here. So really do have to state, if you're looking for a great battery champ, you're gonna love this thing. It will destroy your iPhone in just straight use in battery life. So really, this is an excellent battery tablet. When you're having classes, stuff like that, if you fully charge it, you're going to get through your whole class day easily. If you're just using it for movies and you want to watch a couple, you're going to get tired before this battery gets tired. So excellent battery, thumbs up for the iPad 8th generation. So overall, discussing the iPad 8th generation, is it worth it? Should you buy it? And my answer to that is absolutely. If you need a good price iPad, this thing is surprisingly good value. I use my iPad Pro 11 next to this, and I can't believe, how much more that tablet is compared to this and what it offers. I mean, they basically can do the same thing. Yeah, you do have Touch ID, which we didn't talk about much. Older way of recognition. You have Face ID on the new one. Yeah, you have a little bit of bezel here on the top and bottom. Get the black one if you want to cover that up a little bit more. It's kind of hides away a little bit better. But I mean, A12 Bionic now, this thing is a beast in performance. So really, this is an excellent value just because of the chip under the hood. But if you can't live with this older Apple design, you're like, no way, sir. I will pass on that one. I will wait for the next edition with the newer designs. This is not going to be for you. But other than that, I think Apple's going to sell a ton of these on Black Friday this holiday season, just like they do every year. And I'm going to stand by this one. I'm going to say yes. Go ahead and pick this one up, because it is a fantastic chip. It is a fantastic software. Older design is familiar. Most people aren't going to care. Let me know your thoughts on the iPad 8th generation. While again, it's pretty boring tablet in terms of nothing innovative, groundbreaking here, it's an excellent one. Are you going to pick one up? Did you pick one up already? Let us know your experience down below. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, click the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already for more iOS 14 content. We do have the new iPhone 12s will be coming to the channel, and many more pieces of content coming your way. I'll catch you all in the next one. Be sure to be well, and peace.